The sewage crisis that's closed beaches, made people sick, and impacted daily lives back in the national spotlight. The head of the EPA returned to San Diego today. Lee Zeldin gave an update on the push to solve the issue that people in the South Bay have been dealing with for decades. Coming up, what he said about construction projects with Mexico and his bold claim about when beaches could reopen. Plus, Supervisor Paloma Aguirre joins us live in studio with her response. But first,
it is shocking that they detained both parents, knowing that there was two small children in school who would have no one to pick them up.
The parents of two young boys detained by ICE last week in Chula Vista now have legal representation. It's a story ABC 10 News reporter Laura Acevedo has been following from the beginning. Today, she follows through with the family attorney about how she plans to fight this case.
The attorney now representing the parents detained by ICE in Chula Vista reached out to me after seeing my original story last Friday. She's now fighting to get both parents out of ICE custody while she fights their case.
I was able to go and visit them just this week on Tuesday.
Nerea Woods is an immigration attorney now representing this couple, Reynaldo Chirino and Chris Estefani, detained over a week ago in Chula Vista after dropping their two kids off at school. The boys now in the care of a family friend.
I think like most people, I saw, your story on the case and immediately wanted to help.
Woods is a senior attorney for the law office of Andrew Neader, who is a provider for the county's Immigrant Legal Defense Program, a free service for detained immigrants, similar to a public defender.
First and foremost, these are not criminals. There is no criminal record here.
Woods argues these parents now at the Otay Mesa Detention Center should have never been detained, citing ICE's own directive from last July about detention and removal of parents with minor children. Their boys are 4 and 12 years old.
It is shocking that they detained both parents, knowing that there was two small children in school who would have no one to pick them up.
She says there are alternatives to detention for people in removal proceedings, like ankle monitors, ICE check-ins, or other ways of monitoring a person. As Woods plans to fight their case in immigration court, Congressman Juan Vargas is also getting involved. In a phone call yesterday, he told me that after seeing our story, his office sent ICE an inquiry about the parents' case.
I'm very hopeful that with his help, we can put a little bit more pressure on ICE to simply just do the right thing, follow their own policy.
For days now, I've been asking ICE for information about this case, and they still haven't responded with any details.
ICE can still make this right in this situation, and that's what we're asking for.
Both parents have a hearing in their case on Monday, which also happens to be the day of their youngest child's birthday. Laura Acevedo, ABC 10 News.
Laura covers the border, immigration, the South Bay, and Latino communities. Send her your story ideas by scanning the QR code on your screen or emailing her at laura.acevedo@10news.com. The head of the EPA back in San Diego today to talk about the Tijuana River Valley sewage crisis that we've been covering for decades. Lee Zeldin met with South Bay business owners affected by the sewage. He also gave an update on the federal government's efforts to end the crisis. ABC 10 News reporter Ava Kirshner asked Zeldin about the plans.
Zeldin told me the immediate fix needs to be stopping the sewage, but people's health is still top of mind. He and other officials actually spoke with small businesses who told them this is a major quality of life issue and one that's been going on for decades. Now, here at ABC 10, we've spoken with businesses, families, and visitors who've had their health and homes hurt by this. They tell us they just want to find a solution. Zeldin addressed that today and added that many of the projects in the works now have shortened timelines and that they have each been stress tested. He also said since his last visit in April, Mexico has been holding up its end of the bargain. In December, an agreement called Minute 333 was signed by both countries. It outlines major wastewater infrastructure projects in Tijuana and new measures to make sure the projects get done.
We are confirming, verifying that this work is progressing. There are projects slated for 2027. There's one project that's slated for 2028. It is our assessment that all of this needs to be completed in order to implement and have a permanent 100% solution.
Zeldin says he verifies every week to make sure that both countries are on track to fix the sewage crisis. I asked him, after that fix, how will he help the people dealing with the long-term effects of living near raw sewage? Will there be any resources or aid to these people who have spent hundreds in hospital bills trying to recover from the health effects of the sewage crisis?
Let's start talking about what happens next. If we start talking right now about what happens next when that raw sewage stops coming over, then we could be starting to implement that plan overlapping and be sprinting when that last project is being completed in 2028.
Zeldin ending on a bold claim that he expects the beaches, which have been closed for years here, to reopen before the end of Trump's administration. Reporting in Coronado, I'm Ava Kirshner, ABC 10 News.
And joining us now to react to today's meeting is County Supervisor Paloma Aguirre. Aguirre, of course, the mayor previously at Imperial Beach, and you've been on this long before you were mayor in IB. We worked together as well. We were down at the border so many years ago. What was your reaction today to the roundtable with Lee Zeldin?
I think it was very positive that this administration, specifically Administrator Zeldin, has now come twice and has seen firsthand how this crisis is impacting businesses, but the daily lives of so many of my constituents. Tens of thousands of constituents of mine are suffering gastrointestinal illnesses, chronic migraines. They're missing work, they're missing school, their household is being affected, their quality of life. So for me, it was incredibly important to make sure that I uplifted the voices of those who are being harmed by this crisis. As we speak about, or as we talk about the progress being made, the infrastructure improvements, which are very important, but at the end of the day, what is happening on the ground in the day-to-day continues to be a crisis and continues to be resolved.
I know you spoke with him prior to the roundtable, and I'm sure you spoke on behalf of the people affected.
Yes.
What else came out of that? And did you get any info?
Well, what I was very appreciative was that he's very open to share information. You know, as soon as he gets it, as soon as I offer to provide our data. As you well know, the county is making a lot of efforts as it relates to an economic study, an epidemiological study. We're spearheading. We're working to remove the hotspot. We're working to expand their purifier program. So that information I was able to share with him. Obviously, he continues to put the pressure on Mexico for their commitments. The 2027 timeline is the light at the end of the tunnel, but something I continue to reiterate to him, to you, to anybody listening, is that those efforts will not address the main source of pollution, which is the river itself. Those flows coming through the Tijuana River Valley on a daily basis not only affect beach water quality and the coast, but the air that our community members are breathing in. And that is the most concerning thing to me, because that is the reality that my constituents are experiencing.
Did you get a reaction to your diversion idea? Is he open?
Yes, we talked about it. We talked about it having been in the EPA infrastructure comprehensive solution. It was actually listed as one of the alternatives. It didn't make it into the record of decision, but that is something that we're going to continue to explore, because until that is tackled, we won't see this crisis alleviated, really.
Some optimism there. He was very optimistic, saying the beaches would open. Would you go that far?
I don't know. I want to be cautiously optimistic. I want to continue to share a positive outlook. Our beaches have been closed now 4 years straight. Our businesses locally are being impacted. Our ability to serve the people of all of my district, because it's not just Imperial Beach and Coronado, it's the people of Nestor, San Isidro, Chula Vista, National City that used to go to these beaches for recreation for free, and now they don't have access to that. But again, the most important thing for me is the public health aspect of this crisis and the inability of my constituents to be able to breathe. I got text messages today, this morning, the day before, people telling me the stench was unbearable, that they couldn't breathe, that they couldn't sleep. We saw the recent data from Scripps Institution of Oceanography. We saw spikes up to 2,000 parts per billion of hydrogen sulfide. The standard, as you know, is 30. So that's how high and elevated hydrogen sulfide levels are, and that's what we are measuring. What about what we're not measuring? It's all the other chemicals and pollutants that we can perceive, but that are absolutely making their way into our bodies and harming us.
Zeldin's been here twice. He's talking fast tracking. Is it coming fast enough for you?
I appreciate the efforts to expedite the process. He has definitely taken the lead and charge of what we had first been told would take 10, maybe 12 years. Now the timeline has been shortened, but again, we need to tackle the other big elephant in the room, which is the river flows themselves. And that, until we don't address that, we're not going to see relief. And we can do that simultaneously, pressuring Mexico to do what they've committed to doing, but we also need to explore U.S.-based solutions. Look, is it going to cost us? Yes. Can we send the bill to Mexico? Sure. And I'm open to that. I'm open to exploring every single possibility. The main goal is, how do we reduce the harm to our constituents in South Bay as fast as possible today?
A lifelong passion of yours, for sure. Paloma Aguirre, now with the supervisors, a whole new level of access, and we're with you. We're watching you. Hope you'll be back soon to keep us updated.
Thank you for keeping that this at the forefront.
Always. Thank you. Zeldin was in town in April of last year, and we were there as he toured the Tijuana River Valley. At the time, he spoke exclusively to ABC 10 News reporter Laura Acevedo. He promised there's a plan in place to clear the stench and to hold Mexico accountable. In July, Zeldin announced the U.S. and Mexico entered a new memorandum of understanding. That agreement includes commitments from Mexico, including spending $93 million it promised to invest several years ago as part of a previous agreement. In August, the 10 million gallon expansion of the South Bay wastewater treatment plant was completed. In December, the U.S. and Mexico signed a new agreement called Minute 333. It outlines major wastewater infrastructure projects in Tijuana and new measures to make sure the projects get done. You can find more coverage of the South Bay sewage crisis on our website, 10news.com. A decision could be coming soon on the possible sale of the Padres. Coming up, sports director Ben Higgins breaks down the big names emerging as potential buyers.
All right, we had some drop in temperatures today, but it was still really warm. I'm going to be pinpointing a return to winter weather and when we see rain back in the forecast.